Good morning to all of you. As the next part of the video 4, tools and methods used in cybercrime, we discussed many important topics such as proxy servers and anonymizers, virus and Trojan horses, keyloggers, etc. In the second part of this video, we discuss steganography, we discussed DOS and DDoS attack. We will discuss symptoms of DOS attack, classification of DOS attacks. We also discuss tools used to launch DOS attack. Okay, these concepts in detail. As most of us know, steganography and encryptions are the techniques to keep the information confidential. Steganography is a Greek word that means sheltered writing. Stegnos means covered, graphins means to write or concealed writing. Steg analysis is a technique of detecting messages that are hidden in images, audio, video files using steganography. Encryption is helpful in bringing some part of the security. Strictly speaking, security consists of confidentiality, integrity, non-repudiation. The parameter non-repudiation is very important as part of cybersecurity. Any act which is done, if it is denied by the person or person causing that event directly or indirectly, that is non-repudiation. We should be able to identify non-repudiation in order to trace out the cybercrime or any act that has happened. Coming back to the encryption, we know what is the encryption. We encrypt the given information so that the third party do not understand anything with respect to the data that is being transmitted. Encryption we do using symmetric key and asymmetric key. Let us not go to the details of encryption. Let us take DOS and DDoS attack. An attempt to make a computer resources unavailable to its intended users is a DOS attack. In DOS attack, attacker floods the bandwidth of the victim's networks or fills his email box with a spam mail, depriving him of the services he is entitled to access or provide. Attacker typically targets sites or services hosted on high-profile web servers such as banks, credit card payment gateways, mobile phone networks, or even root name servers. DOS attack buffer overflow technique is employed to commit such kind of criminal attack. Attacker spoofs the IP addresses and floods the network of victim with repeated requests. As the IP address is fake, the victim machine keeps waiting for response from the attacker's machine for each request. This consumes the bandwidth of the network, which then fails to serve the legitimate responses, ultimately breaks down. Symptoms of DOS attack. US Computer Emergency Response defines it as follows. Unusually slow network performance, maybe opening of file or accessing websites, unavailability of a particular website, inability to access by website, dramatic increase in the number of spam emails received. These are identified as symptoms of the DOS attack. What DOS attack does? Goal of the DOS attack is not to gain unauthorized access to systems or data, but to prevent intended users of a service from using it. What are the activities done by DOS attack? Flood a network with traffic, disrupt connection between two systems, prevent a particular individual from accessing the service, disturb services to a particular system or person. We can classify the DOS attacks into the following: bandwidth attacks, logic attacks, protocol attacks, unintentional DOS attacks. Bandwidth attacks consumes all the bandwidth of the site. Logic attack exploits vulnerabilities in network software such as web server or TCP/IP stack. Protocol attacks exploit specific features or implementation bug of some protocol installed at the victim's system to consume excess amount of its resources. Types or levels of DOS attacks. Flood attack, called ping flood. Attacker sending number of ping packets using the ping command, which results into more traffic than victim can handle. This requires the attacker to have faster network connection than the victim. Prevention of ping attack is a very challenging one. In fact, most of the cases it is impossible. Ping of death attack. In this attack, attacker sends oversized ICMP packets. Receiving this packet will probably crash or freeze or reboot the system. Sync attack in TCP. As we are aware, TCP/IP uses three-way handshake protocol. When three-way handshake protocol is used, the person who attacks the TCP/IP server may send multiple packets to establish the connection. Further, he may not send any communication packets. As a result of this, multiples of connections keep open, but none of the connections actually send the communication packets. Communication did not happen actually. As a result of that, eventually, when a stage is reached where all the connections are being utilized for establishing the connection, the TCP server may deny the services for the intended user. This is the TCP/IP denial of service attack, which is an example. Okay, tools used to launch DOS attack. JAWL 2, which is a tool, Nemesis, Targa, Crazy Finger. These are some of the tools used to launch DOS attack. JAWL 2 attack against Windows-based machine consumes 100% of CPU time and processing of illegal packets. Nemesis generates random packets of spoofed source IP. Targa used to run 8 different DOS attacks. Crazy Finger sends large packets of ICMP. These are some of the tools used to launch DOS attack. DDoS attack. Attacker use your computer to attack another computer by taking advantage of security vulnerabilities or weaknesses. An attacker could take control of your computer, then force your computer to send huge amount of data to a website or send spam to a particular email addresses. The attack is distributed because the attacker is using multiple computers to launch the DOS attack. Large number of zombie systems are synchronized to attack a particular system. Zombie systems are called secondary victims and main target is called primary victim. It is very important to understand how to protect from DOS or from DDoS attack. We should implement router filter. If such filters are available in your system, install patches to guard against TCP sink flooding. Disable any unused or unessential network services. Keep observing your system performance and establish baselines for ordinary activity. Routinely examine your physical security. Use tools to detect changes in configuration, information or other files. Invest and maintain hard space. Invest in redundant fault-tolerant network configuration. Establish and maintain regular backup schedules and policies. Establish and maintain appropriate password policies. The another one is SQL injection. It is a code injection technique that exploits a security vulnerability occurring in database layer of application. This is also known as SQL insertion attack. SQL injection attack targets the SQL servers. The objective is to obtain the information while accessing a database table that may contain personal information. Malicious code is inserted into a web form field or the website's code to make a system execute a command shell or other arbitrary commands. There are some steps as described in your textbook of cybersecurity by Nina Garbole. Attacker looks for the web pages that allow submitting data, that is login page, search or feedback page, etc. Also looks HTML commands such as post and get by checking the site's source code, checks the source code of HTML and looks for forum tag, inputs a single quote under the text box provided on the web page to accept the user name and password. This checks whether the user input variable is sanitized or interrupted literally by the server. If the response is an error message, then the website is found to be susceptible to an SQL injection. SQL injection uses SQL commands such as select or insert. Using SQL injection, attacker can obtain some basic information if the purpose of the attack is reconnaissance, to get directory listing, to ping an IP address, may gain access to the database by obtaining username and password, to get user listing, for example, select star from users where name equals R, logic R, ORR, 1 equals 1, add new data in the DB, execute insert command, modify data currently in the DB, execute update command. Blind SQL injection, it is used when a web application is vulnerable to SQL injection, but the results of the injections are not visible to the attacker. How to prevent SQL injection attack? Attack occur due to poor websites administration and coding. It is very important to have input validation to prevent from the attack. Replace all single quotes to two single quotes. Sanitize the input. User inputs needs to be checked and cleaned of any characters or strings that could possibly be used maliciously. Numerical values should be checked. Keep all text boxes and form fields as short as possible to limit the length of user input. Modify error reports. SQL errors should not be displayed to the outside users. Other preventions, maybe SQL Server 2000 never be used. Isolate DB server and web server. Both should reside in different machines. Extended stored procedures are not used or have unused triggers, stored procedures, user defined functions, etc. Then these should be moved to an isolated server. Buffer overflow attack. Buffer overflow, or also called as buffer overrun, is an anomaly, irregularity, where a process stores data in a buffer outside the memory the programmer has set aside for it. Extra data may result in erratic program behavior, including memory access errors, incorrect results, program termination, or a breach of system security. It can be triggered by inputs that are designed to execute code or alter where the program operates. Programming language associated with it including C or C++, which provides no built-in protection against accessing or overwriting data in any part of the memory. Security attack on data integrity. In the next class, we will discuss types of buffer overflow and other informations as part of the topic tools and methods used in cybercrime. Thank you.